Coming to you live from the Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loan Studio, I'm Hannah Ostapchuk alongside Brady Quinn. We're breaking down some of the top stories heading into Week 13 of the college football season. Brady, so many big matchups this week. So let's start with the Iron Bowl. The winner clinches the SEC championship game. Do you think Auburn can do it?
I think they can. Look, they're playing at home. We saw 4 years ago the infamous Kick Six game.
Oh, I love that game.
An undefeated Alabama team came into Auburn thinking they were going to come away with the win. That wasn't the case. So we've seen them do it before. And plus, this is the best team that Auburn's faced all year. This is a very balanced attack. Kerryon Johnson's the leading rusher in the SEC. Jarrett Stidham's played really well the last 3 weeks. 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And their defense, I think, can potentially stop that rushing attack of Alabama. So I think Auburn's got a shot. I don't know that they're going to be able to do it, but we've seen it in the past, so I can't wait to watch that one.
I'm rooting for them in this one. I really hope they can do it. In other news, Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley announced on Monday that quarterback Baker Mayfield will not start, but he will play in this week's game against West Virginia. This punishment, of course, comes after Mayfield made an obscene gesture and also yelled inappropriately towards the Kansas sideline on Saturday. So how does behavior like this affect his push for the Heisman?
I don't think it really affects it at all. To be quite honest with you, we've seen in the past other Heisman winners with character flaws and issues. And it seems like the Heisman Committee and voters turns a blind eye to that sort of thing.
Right.
And they really do make it about their performance on the field. So I don't think it's going to affect them too much. I do think it'll affect how some people look at him at the NFL level. Some people will hate it. Some, to be quite honest, might not mind it. They might actually like it a little bit because of the type of demeanor that he takes and the edginess that he brings. You know, some guys like that, and they want that from their quarterback, and as far as him being a fire starter.
All right, well, moving over to Ohio State, if they win in the Big House and capture the Big Ten title, do you think they'll make the playoffs?
I think they will. I think at this point in time, they've had a pretty solid resume. Now, people are going to start talking about, well, look at their losses, look at they lost to. But that would also be assuming that Oklahoma somehow didn't win the Big 12 and they weren't in there, because I think they'll be a part of that. And I think when you look at Ohio State's body of work, when it's all said and done, they're going to beat a number of top 25 teams who are tough on their schedule. And at the end of the day, they'll probably be the 4 spot. But they've played good enough football. I think they're very deserving of being in this college football playoff.
And lastly, according to reports, Chip Kelly has at least 2 schools interested in him. UCLA, who just fired Jim Mora on Sunday, and he also met with the Florida Gators on Sunday. So how do you think he's going to make a decision here?
Well, I think the tough thing is, where does he feel like he's got more familiar grounds? And to me, it makes way more sense to be in UCLA. And that would be a nightmare for USC. They're hoping he takes the Florida job because he's already got a presence on the West Coast in recruiting. We've seen that previously with his time at Oregon. But it's the resources, it's the local talent there. You've got all sorts of facilities, a beautiful campus, a great education. There's a lot of things that he can promote. And I think they can pay him enough where, Florida's going to be very competitive in that realm. So I think the UCLA job probably makes more sense. And then maybe all of a sudden he can convince Josh Rosen to come back for another year. But, the Florida job, I think it's a possibility. But there's some other names that I think would compete for that, whether it's Dan Mullen, Scott Frost, who's already there in state. Those guys might make a little more sense than maybe Chip Kelly, who probably, in my opinion, was a better fit in a conference that he's already played in. He knows that that style of football, the coaches he's going up against.
Well, Brady, as always, thank you for breaking it all down for us today. And for more on all things college football, keep it locked right here on CBS Sports.